I get why you're hesitating. You've probably seen a ton of ready-to-play desktops and wonder if you're just throwing cash at a box that looks good on paper but ends up collecting dust because it can't keep up with the games you actually want to play. You also don't want to spend a few $100s on a system that looks sleek but forces you to upgrade the GPU in a year, or worse, has connectivity quirks that make multiplayer a nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through what the ZOTAC MEK actually brings to a typical gamer's desk and whether that aligns with the kind of experience you're after. First off, the MEK is positioned as an effortless gaming machine, and that claim hinges on how the parts work together out of the box. The heart of the build is an AMD Ryzen 5 9600X, a 6-core chip that can boost up to 5.4 GHz. In the real world, that translates to smooth frame rates in titles like Valorant or Fortnite without you having to fiddle with power settings. Pair that with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5068GB GDDR7, and you're looking at solid 1080p performance and a respectable jump into 1440p for less demanding games. The 16GB of DDR5 RAM means you won't be hitting the memory ceiling in modern titles, and the 1TB NVMe SSD shaves seconds off load times so you're not staring at a black screen waiting for Elden Ring to launch. For someone who wants to drop the PC into their setup and start playing within an hour, the combination of CPU, GPU, and storage does deliver the plug-and-play vibe the marketing promises. Now, who should actually consider this box? If you're a gamer who spends most of your time in the 1080p to 1440p range, values a tidy white chassis that won't clash with a minimalist desk, and prefers not to spend weekends building a rig, the MEK hits a sweet spot. It's also a decent choice for streamers who need a system that can handle both gaming and encoding at the same time, thanks to the Ryzen's extra cores. The built-in Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 mean you can connect a high-speed router or a wireless headset without hunting for dongles, which is a subtle but handy convenience for a living room setup. If you already own a decent monitor and are comfortable with Windows 11 Home, you can start gaming right away without additional software purchases. On the flip side, you'll want to skip this one if you're planning to push into 4K territory or if you already have a high-end GPU lying around. The RTX 5060, while competent, will start to show its limits once you crank textures and ray tracing on at 1440p high settings. Upgrading to an RTX 4070 or higher isn't impossible, but the MEK's compact case and 650W80 plus Gold PSU mean you'll quickly run into headroom constraints both in terms of space and power delivery. The case design, while stylish, also limits how many additional drives or larger coolers you can fit. So if you anticipate needing massive storage or a custom cooling loop down the line, this isn't the most future-proof platform. Lastly, the fact that it ships with Windows 11 Home means you won't have the pro features that some power users rely on, such as BitLocker or Remote Desktop, without an upgrade. Let's talk about the day-to-day experience you can actually expect. I've seen the MEK set up next to a 27-inch 1440p monitor, with a wireless mouse and a headset on the desk, and the whole thing fits neatly into a corner without looking like a server rack. Boot times are under 15 seconds, and loading into Apex Legends feels snappy thanks to that SSD. During a typical 2-hour gaming session, the system stays reasonably quiet. The fans spin up just enough to keep the RTX 5060 cool, but you won't hear a constant whine that distracts from the soundtrack. The Wi-Fi 6E connection holds steady even when multiple devices are streaming on the same network, which is a practical win if you share a house with roommates. However, if you try to push the GPU with maxed-out ray tracing settings in Cyberpunk 2077, you'll notice frame rate dips into the low 30s, which is a clear sign that the card is the bottleneck, not the CPU or RAM. That's the hidden trade-off. The machine is balanced for mid-range performance, but it won't magically turn a demanding